You're listening to Bit Harmony, a video game music podcast, and despite how often these omniscient singing children are trying to tell me I'm the perfect shape, I'm not. I am not the perfect shape at all right now. Not for summer. I'm Matt.
Aw, but believe in yourself. You're the perfect shape, Matt. I think you're the perfect shape, just how you are.
All the sweat on my body right now in this heat would disagree with you fully.
Yeah.
This is not the perfect shape.
Look, we are recording this early in the morning, my time. We just got back from the gym. I am a sweaty hog right now, and I'm Seth.
Yeah, we are doing a mini episode on To a T this time. We will go over what a mini means and whatnot if you're unfamiliar after the break. But for now, just know we are talking about the video game To a T, and it should be a shorter-ish one of these things. Before we get there, though, our intro this episode is Summer Vacation from To a T. And To a T was composed by Sakai Asuka. And we'll be right back. That was Summer Vacation from To a T. And look, despite how much I was just complaining about how hot I am and how sweaty I am, this song does really put me in like a summery mood, complimentary, not how I normally feel about summer. Yeah, I'm really in a summer vacation mood specifically right now. Not just because of how hot it is, but my wife's on like a 3-week vacation right now.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's the vibes are besides how hot it is, the vibes are really right over here on my side of the pond.
The vibes here have never been worse. No, it's not that bad, but we're, my partner and I were preparing for a move and stuff, and we're going to be moving like in the middle of summer here in Texas. It's extremely humid. It's been very rainy here also, so it doesn't really feel like summer, but we have all of the heat and mugginess of summer in Texas. So it's been rough in these parts, but it's funny. We were talking about summer and like summer vacation before we started recording, and it is funny. Like, I do appreciate, even though I hate summer because of the heat and being a large man in the heat is not fun. But the vibes are good. Like, the summer vibes are very good. And this song does have those summer vibes. They're pretty perfect.
Yeah, I when we were trying to decide what songs to play on this mini, because we did cover this game decently well on the mid-year check-in episode 2025 just about a year ago, and we did I believe Giraffe song and Train song there, which are probably like the two most I don't know the exact word I want to use. Like, those are kind of like the best slash like the most like pillar like songs on the soundtrack to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to avoid using those again, despite how good they are. And I feel like Summer Vacation ended up just being a really good representation of what I really like about this soundtrack overall, which is namely that smooth ass saxophone that just
Yeah.
won't quit.
Yeah, it is very smooth. You know, I was listening to this. This is the first time I've really ever sat down and like listened to this soundtrack with like good headphones and stuff. And one thing that I really appreciated listening to this song was the juxtaposition between that very smooth, like very forward sax melody and also like the kind of distant and like high register trumpet like in the background. And
Mm-hmm.
there's something about that to me that like when I think of trumpet, it always reads to me like very rigid, militant, structured like schoolyard or whatever kind of sound. And it's funny, like something about that distant trumpet sound almost trailing off in this and the sax sound kind of like almost taking over. It's reminiscent of like I feel like it's almost as if to say like school is over,
Mm-hmm.
like time for summer or something like that. There's something to that. There's something about that kind of like almost shrill school bell alarm kind of sound of the trumpet fading away to make room for this smooth ass sax.
Yeah, that shrill trumpet. Like obviously the saxophone is the standout of any song that it's featured in on the
Yeah.
soundtrack. But yeah, that shrill trumpet you're talking about. Yeah, like you're saying, it is shrill to like an almost unnatural point. Like as
Mm-hmm.
someone that played trumpet for a couple years in middle school and high school, I don't think I ever played the trumpet this shrill. I don't think this noise never came out of my trumpet, to the point where I didn't even like recognize it as that at first. I was like, is this some kind of like MIDI? Like what's going on here? And yeah, I like that comparison of like the fact that it's in the background. It's like, yeah, you know, we'll talk more in depth about the story and the game and whatever in a little bit. But yeah, teen, especially at the start, really dreads going to school, which is a super relatable thing for
Right.
me, especially in middle school, especially that 13, 14 year old time frame. And so yeah, the trumpet being so shrill and so in the background compared to the saxophone. Yeah, it's like vacation and free time and leisure time has taken over. And even
Mm-hmm.
though you still have in the back of your head the idea and thought of school, it's like, well, I don't have to worry about that right now. I do really think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, there's something, there definitely is something to that adds to that kind of vibe. And I don't know, I mean, another thing, obviously, like the little keys and the hand drums and stuff are also very prominent here, which are very, they give like that kind of beachy, kind of flavor to it. One thing that I really appreciate and I'm really drawn to with this game is like this setting. I don't think they ever like name the town that they live in to my memory.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like that it's like a beachy, like it's like a beachside town, and I like that. Like I think it gives it a kind of unique vibe. The game is very Japanese. It's made by Japanese team and stuff like this, but it has a little bit of that kind of, I don't know, coastal Americana to it also, which I like.
Yeah, I read that as it very much is Japanese, but it also has got a little bit of that San Francisco in there. And I think
Totally.
that's where Keita Takahashi was living when he was in America, right?
Right.
This is really a perfect blend of those two things. And yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I think with how much work must have gone into just like plotting out the landscape and the roads and whatnot of this town, I think that's like the standout character of this game, honestly, is the
Mm-hmm.
setting, which is funny because like you're never really required to check out like even half of it. I feel like if you are just mainlining the story, you can avoid exploring like all of this. And to be fair, there's not that much to explore beyond finding the different shops and finding money to buy things with at the shops. But yeah, that would be doing a disservice to like the game and what it's going for. Like I said, I'm so glad you called out the town because I didn't know where to even talk about that, but it's such an important part of the game's like tone and yeah, the vibe of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean we'll get into this more when we talk about the game more properly, but like the fact that you are kind of living this like slice of life, kind of story, the daily life of this teenager living in this town, it is kind of nice to like, I don't know, yeah, get to know it and like spend some time in there. And yeah, I don't know. I always vibed with that. I think this song in particular really kind of sells that coastal beachside. Yeah, San Francisco makes perfect sense. Like that kind of flavor.
It also, this song is playing at like the start of episode 4, or even before you start the episode, I think. So that's when you spend the night at your aunt's place, and she runs like a seaside like diner that is, you have to
Yeah.
walk through the water to get to, and everyone hates it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like when that's the part of the game where you're most free to just explore. Like they really, I like, you have the jump ability or like the fly ability at that
Mm-hmm.
point. So it's kind of like they want you to be like, hey, yeah, go wherever at this point. The fast travel with the train is open now. And yeah, I that also lends to the summer vacation vibe of it for me. The only other note I really have about the song is that the constant like driving percussion in the background really, really reminded me of being a kid, specifically riding my bike everywhere when I was like
Yeah.
age like 11 through 14 or whatever. My legs are pedaling at like a million miles a minute, but also there's a million different thoughts coming in and out of my head, but like none of them matter because I'm 13 and nothing is really that important right now.
Mm-hmm.
It specifically really brought to mind, I had a memory of biking to the local rental place in my hometown in Wisconsin, and the major issue in my head was, I want to rent something. I want to rent a game. Is it going to be Final Fantasy 9 or Mario Golf? I remember specifically that Sophie's Choice I had going on.
It's a good problem to have. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
good decisions to weigh.
It just, like I said, it just evokes so much of that, just the carefreeness of childhood. Like you're on summer vacation. You're also in that sweet spot of, you're old enough to be able to like ride your bike on your own and have like a
Yeah.
social group and a friend group outside of your family. But yeah, not old enough to have any serious responsibilities or whatever. Yeah, like this song perfectly evokes all that. It's very good.
Yeah, I'm very nostalgic for those kind of like summers in Chicago growing up, like the kind of, I don't know, like sticky humidity, like you just kind of have like, you know, a glaze of sweat while you're, yeah, riding your bike and playing street hockey behind the church and stuff. And yeah, my cousin and I, like we would ride our bike and catch like the ice cream truck and stuff like that. That's all very, very precious memories. You know, it is
Mm-hmm.
funny that like already, even just talking about a song in the video game To a T, which is a game that like nobody's played, uh like already it's just so evocative. Like it just brings up so much. Like even it is so, I think that To a T is more true to the sort of coming of age like teenage experience than just about anything else I've played.
Despite the places that the story ends up going
Yes.
by the end.
Yes.
Did you have any other notes then on summer vacation?
Nope. Good song. I'm glad you chose this one to open with. I don't know that I would have like, I don't know where I would have gone if I were like picking the song to open with, but I think this was the right move.
Like I said, I also really struggled with that. I was like, do we do the obvious thing and do Perfect Shape? I'm just like, no, it's like a bit too trite for this kind of
Yeah.
thing. And yeah, let's just showcase something that's not obvious. I feel like what was my goal with this episode. And to be fair, we have the outro is very not obvious. Even
Yeah.
one of the break songs I think is pretty not obvious, but we will get there in a little bit. Hey, again, this is a mini episode of Bit Harmony. If you are unaware, if you listen to this regularly but don't realize, despite how often we talk about it, hey, sometimes we do these mini episodes that are usually Patreon exclusive. They're behind a paywall, but sometimes we make them free. Usually you still have to go sign up at the Patreon at like the free level to listen, but in this
Right.
case, we kind of decided, hey, we haven't made one of these free in a minute, and we're kind of trying to get more eyes and ears onto a T for various reasons. And why not just put this on the public feed as a way to get the most eyes on this game, and also as a way to remind people that we do have a bunch of mini episodes over on the Patreon side of things.
Yeah, there's a ton over there actually, for some very good games. Like I'm really proud of the suite of mini episodes that we've done. We've done major games that you're probably like wondering when we will will we ever cover, like the Mario Kart series on the show. And it's like, well, we did a mini on that actually. you know.
For some reason, we did a mini on that. I'm still confused why we did a mini on that.
But I actually think that we handled. I think that mini turned out really well.
Yeah.
In spite of that, I'm actually really happy with the way that turned out, and we've done some fun stuff. Like we covered like the Earthblade soundtrack, the canceled Earthblade soundtrack from Lena Rain, and we have a lot of fun doing these minis, and we often try to pair them or theme them to another episode that we're doing kind of the main podcast, and that's the case here. We just did the We Love Katamari episode, and now we're covering Keita Takahashi's latest with To a T. And yeah, it's also just a great opportunity to get more people aware that 2T is even a thing, and it's a game that is worth your time and interest, and the music is really good, so it just made perfect sense. But yes, I do encourage y'all, if you like this stuff, like joining the Patreon. Not only does it support us directly, and it's the most it's sort of the best way to support what we do. But yeah, you are rewarded for your patronage with a ton of exclusive podcasts over there.
Like, if you like this show, I think there's something somewhere in the realm of like 15 exclusive mini episodes over there already, and they're each at least an hour long. Again, that Mario Kart one is like 2 hours long. That was it was insane.
Barely a mini, yeah.
With that said, then I think we've got all the housekeeping out of the way. Do you want to talk then about some To a T?
I would love nothing more.
To a T, originally released May 28th, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. It also just came out a few days ago, as of the time of this recording, on Switch 2. Worth noting, we were sent Switch 2 code, or Seth specifically was. I don't want to glob onto it. It's nothing to do with me. Seth was sent code, and I played it from the shared account we have.
Well, it is now. I mean, we're covering it on Bit Harmony, aren't we?
That's true. That they have no idea I exist. It's fine. This is a narrative-focused sorta adventure game. We'll talk more about that aspect when we get there, but it's directed by Keita Takahashi. As we mentioned before, that is the creator of the Katamari Damacy series. In this game, in To a T, you are mostly playing as a named teen, if you don't want to name them yourself.
Yeah.
Who is permanently stuck in a T pose, as in their arms are just constantly stuck out, straight out from them. Again, much like a T-pose in a video game. The first half of the game ends up navigating a lot of what you might be expecting it to based on that premise. It's basically exploring what daily life is like for teen, the details and how they function in a world that's not built for them to easily navigate, their fears and anxieties, stuff like that. Though, again, we're not going to get into it much, if at all, here, but the second half of the game does divert a fair bit in very unexpected ways.
Yeah.
We will talk a little bit about episode 5, obviously, but just know that if you see footage of this game, there is a lot beneath the surface. It's just that I don't think it behooves us to like ruin the game for people, especially when it just got a Switch 2 release. But the most interesting parts of the game are in that second half, and it's worth playing the game just for that stuff alone.
Yeah, well, and I also, it's funny, like, I think that's all true, but this game, the way that I describe this game is that it, like, more than anything else I've ever played, really does feel like you're playing an anime or a manga or something. In the structure, I know that we'll talk about it, but like in the episode kind of structure that like has an anime kind of like opening and outro between episodes, just everything about it. And then even like the tonality, especially as you get into the end of the game, it's like the sort of like, I don't know, ending arcs of any anime where like all of a sudden just for a little bit gets absolutely insane and you're like, wait, how did we even get here? And then it kind of brings itself back down to earth. And yeah, I love all of that stuff about this, and I think it only serves to like heighten the vibe. And it's also, the game is so unassuming for so much of it that it really like subverted my expectations of like what I thought this game was going to be. And yeah, I was delighted by all of that stuff. Basically everything from this is maybe a light spoiler, but there's a flashback kind of chapter, and everything from like that on is just like, I was like, what the hell is happening?
I'm actually surprised I was not aware of any of this at all going into this, because you and I talk basically every day, and you are someone, you get very excited about talking about games, like, you know, Yoshi in the Mysterious book that released recently. Like,
hell yeah, dude.
I was already interested in the game, but it was really the way in which you talked about that, like, put it higher up my priority list. And I am playing through it right now, and it is amazing. But I'm very shocked that unless you said something that I don't remember a year later, I don't remember there being any kind of hint at any kind of subversion or whatever was happening. Like, no joke. Again, we'll shut up about this in a second, but this gets into some like analgesic productions level of like story twists and turns in here near the end that I truly was not expecting. I was utterly shocked by some of it for various reasons.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I think just for fear of spoilers, I guess I wouldn't have, especially since when we first talked about it on the show and I brought it to the mid-year checkpoint. I probably was just, you know, terrified of spoiling anything, you know, even paying lip service to it when it's like so fresh or whatever. But yeah, I do think that's worth knowing if you're somebody who, like, if you're trying to tell people why they should play this game. Yeah, it does go to some pretty wild places.
Yeah, I think if you just watch the trailers for this, you're gonna think the whole game is basically what the first half of the game is, which is kind of this very cute and sweet and silly, but still with a good message game behind it. But yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on beneath the surface that I was not prepared for. But yeah, again, largely the first half of the game is teen going to school and meeting characters there, but you're also like relatively pretty free to explore this little town and find optional things. We talked about it before, but there's lots of money laying around which you can spend at the shops to buy new cosmetic items. It's like clothes, shoes, bags, etc. There's also a bunch of mini games throughout, and these are kind of more involved and detailed than I would have thought. Especially the first one that I ran into was the popcorn one.
Yeah.
Where it's basically just a giraffe shooting you with popcorn from a cannon, and you're trying to eat as much of the popcorn as you can. Dude, that ice cream mini game is crazy. That's one of the craziest things I've ever tried to control in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty unruly, right? It's been a while since I've played that, but you're trying to like figure out, it's like spinning and rotating, and you're trying to like land on like the good flavors or something like that. Isn't that what you're doing?
The ice cream one is teen, in each of their hands they're holding a cone, a waffle cone.
Oh yeah,
and ice cream is falling from the sky. But in a lot of these mini games that you do, each analog stick kind of controls one of teen's arms. So like the left stick corresponds to the left arm or whatever. And so stuff is falling from the sky. You want to tilt their hands around to catch the ice cream scoops, but avoid whatever bad stuff is coming down. But also have to eat the ice cream as you go, because if something bad hits your stack, it all goes away. So you're having to navigate tilting both of your arms or hands in different ways, different directions at the same time, while also looking out for bad stuff and being cognizant of the fact that you should be tapping the buttons to also eat the ice cream so you don't lose all of it. It is like, I don't know, it's like WarioWare if WarioWare was using like 4 buttons, and maybe that's why they stick to really simple things in WarioWare, because like this was crazy. I tried this twice. I'm like, my brain can't handle this amount of input.
I'm thinking of the one that there's like soda or something, right? Like is it at the sandwich stand or something.
That
There's
sounds right.
yeah, I'm thinking of that one, and then yeah, there's the popcorn one. There's the corn eating one where there's just like it's
Mm.
like an elote, like Mexican street corn. They're grilled corn, and like it's just constantly rotating, and you're trying to clear it all kind of as cleanly as possible. And yeah, they're fun. It's also worth notating, like you had mentioned that there's a giraffe that is kind of running this giant giraffe character who is voiced by Rebecca Sugar, which is awesome.
Hmm.
And and like we played the Giraffe song on that mid-year checkpoint last year, and just such a charming song. I love her voice. I'm a big fan of hers and Steven Universe, and the game in general I think is pretty clearly inspired by stuff like Steven Universe. And anyway, it is never like explicitly said, I don't think, if the giraffe that is running these food stands is the same giraffe, or if they are like four separate giraffes that are like related. They have different hairstyles, but I'm like, is this like a split personality kind of thing?
No, they are separate giraffes. At the end of the game in episode 8, when you're running around talking to everyone about the what has just happened, all four of them are there kind of
Okay.
conversing with each other and giving their opinions on things. So yeah,
They're in
they
the
are
same space then.
separate.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think some of them are, because in the lyrics to some of the versions of the giraffe song, they talk about like one of them is like the mom of one of the other ones. So I think they're related, but
Okay.
they are separate giraffes.
Now here's the thing, Matt. So you played this on Switch 2 all the way through. I
Mm-hmm.
played this when it came out on PS5. So what you just described is part of the new version of the Giraffe song
Oh.
that is exclusive to the Switch 2 version of the game. So they must have added in like some kind of verse about that, like you're describing, because that was not in the original version of the game.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Like, I guess this kind of ties in well to my next note where, they bookend each episode with an intro song in sequence and an outro song in sequence. And yeah, for the intro song, it is Perfect Shape. The outro song is Giraffe Song. They don't always play the exact same version, like what we're talking about here.
Right.
So yeah, there are a couple instances of the Giraffe Song where the lyrics are switched out like a little bit. And yeah, I swear there was one of the Giraffe Song instances where yeah, one of them was saying it's like, or no, it's saying my mom is Giraffe. Like it's usually my name is Giraffe, and this one it's like my
Right.
mom is Giraffe or something. Yeah, that's what it was.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was curious how that was going to manifest itself, because they were kind of marketing that. They were like, "Oh yeah, there's like a new version of the Giraffe song in the Switch 2 version of the game," and I was like, "Oh, well, that's interesting." And then I played the Switch 2 version just kind of long enough to kind of see like how it ran and stuff. Spoilers: it's not very good.
Not
Um,
very good. No.
but it was, like I saw the Giraffe song once and I was like, oh well, this is just like the normal Giraffe song, so I don't even know where that plays, but that's cool. Like it's neat that they added that.
Did in the original version of the game, did Keita Takahashi still have his like his rap solo in the Giraffe Song at the end?
Yes, there's
Okay.
there is like a little piece of them, I think, kind of like rapping in Japanese like together, I think.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, that is interesting. And though it's funny, for like video game music nerds, aka us, it is interesting to market like, hey, we've got like a slightly remixed Giraffe Song in this version of
Yeah.
the game, but also like I can't imagine anyone else cares about that, but I think it's cool.
I think it's great. Yeah, that to me that's like, oh, sick. Like that rules. But yeah, I mean it is worth notating, I guess, that like yeah, the Switch 2 version unfortunately is in pretty rough shape. You should play this video game, but unless you have literally no other way to play it than the Switch 2 version, you should probably just play it somewhere else. Just like the frame rate of it, is in pretty rough shape, and it feels very unoptimized. So just a little PSA there.
Yeah, I never ran into anything like completely egregious, but I had a couple hard crashes and playing it handheld. No joke, this killed my battery faster than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the
Which
Switch
is
2, which is
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
That's genuinely crazy, yeah. But yeah, in a pinch, I still think this is worth playing. Just be aware of those issues or whatever. Yeah, real quick about the episode intro and outro again, the perfect shape and giraffe song. I will say at first I was very charmed by it. And then after a couple instances of it, I was like, I don't know, this is wearing itself out pretty quick. By the end, it wrapped back around when they start, like, again, subverting things without getting into spoilers. But there's like this interesting thing to me with this game of where it does feel a bit like there's some tonally dissonant things going on and how different the first half of the game versus the second half of the game feels like and stuff. I know that there was like publisher issues on the back end as the game was being developed and stuff. I don't know if it has to do with that or whatever, but I just want to note that, again, if you start playing this game and you are kind of put off by the almost like children's show tone of it at first, seriously, like, stick with it. I think it really wraps itself up nicely by the end. It's just that you have to, that repetition of those songs has a purpose. It just doesn't make itself clear until the end.
That's also like one of my favorite, anime tropes is when like the opening or like closing, sequence of an anime is like changed in some way. Like, I love that. I'm a total sucker for that. I think that's such a fun way to kind of take something that is intimately familiar and almost passé or like routine to the player or the viewer or whatever, and like just changing it a little bit to match, the tone they're going for. I love that. And yeah, it's very effective when this game does it.
This will probably be the first and last time anyone on Earth compares to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. But it's very like at the end of each season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure where this is the coolest thing this show does, honestly. I love JoJo's, but the coolest thing is near the final battle episode, like the final arc of each part of JoJo's, the villain's powers start like affecting the intro music of the episodes.
So cool.
It is the coolest thing in the world. It is so damn good. Hey, go play it to a T and go watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Those are the two pieces of advice I have for anyone listening to this.
That's like a I don't know, something about that. It's like you're instructing somebody on how to like properly take a shot or something, like, like take a bite of this lime and then
or it's like that book, like Tuesdays with Maury or whatever. I'm really giving you full on life advice. You start your day off playing to a T and you end it with some JoJo's. I that sounds great.
Tuesdays with Murray. There you go.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. How did I miss that one? Other than all that, though, this is largely a pretty lighthearted and silly game about the day-to-day life of this teenager living with this condition and their dog, the dog that we hadn't really mentioned yet. Maybe my favorite design for a video game dog ever.
Yeah.
It is exceptionally cute, and they are a very important character to the story, which is very, very good. But yeah, the dog and that daily routine aspect is really, really important to the game. Like, you really do see and engage with teens' routine, like getting dressed, eating breakfast, brushing your teeth. Again, throughout all this, teen is kind of at times talking directly to you, the player, like looking at the camera and talking to you about like what they feel, their anxieties and whatever. And again, it kind of has that children's TV show a la Blue's Clues vibe to it, but not as grating. Like, it doesn't like pause and wait for you to respond or whatever. If you're an adult trying to play this, I just don't want that to scare people off if I'm comparing it to a children's TV show. I do think it is very sweet and charming in that way, and I'm glad they did it. I'll also say that generally speaking, these like mundane tasks that you're doing as teen, again, brushing your teeth or whatever, those were honestly my favorite parts of the game, to the point where, after the first day or after the first episode, you don't have to do them anymore. Your mom is like, yeah, I mean, you're getting older now. You don't have to eat breakfast or brush your teeth, but I don't know, do what you want, which is, I thought that was funny, but also I did it every day just because I liked engaging with it. I also liked getting teens' reaction to what was going on with King Pig on the cereal box.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I gotta know what King Pig's doing, and I gotta know what flavor the milk is every day.
Hmm.
Like they have like grape flavored milk in this. Like it's like some truly heinous flavor combinations that are posited.
I had never really had like, besides obvious flavors like chocolate and strawberry, never really had like flavored milk stuff until I lived in Germany.
It's big over there, right?
It's big, especially like, yeah, there's these Muller milches, which are incredible, and then there's also like a lot of a very large variety of buttermilk flavors. Also, I've had grape buttermilk. It's very good. I don't know that I'd want to put it in my cereal, but it is
Right.
genuinely very good.
Yeah, because it'll like you'll go and you'll hear about King Pig's like adventure that day. Sometimes they do like some fun foreshadowing with King Pig's adventures and stuff. If you kind of know
Mm.
where the story's going, that's kind of fun. But then yeah, it'll be like, oh yeah, the cereal today is like seaweed flavor and the milk is like grape milk, or something.
Yeah, like that was like the last day, or it was like calamari, like squid ink or something.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't even really want to imagine this. And then Teen's like, it actually wasn't that bad. I do like that Teen always has like a smile, like no matter what. Like, yeah, I'm about to eat the most heinous thing ever concocted, and I'm still just doing it with a smile. It's fine.
Yeah, but the daily routine thing, I'm glad you bring this up because yeah, I also the first time I played the game, I like that was a must. Like I had to do the daily routine every day, even though I know that you don't have to, but the fact that you don't have to is what makes it a powerful statement as a game mechanic. Like it is the like a really powerful way of illustrating coming of age, which is after a certain point, like, yeah, like I moved out of my house. My mom isn't making me brush my teeth anymore. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Hmm.
you do have to kind of make those decisions for yourself. Am I gonna wear socks with my shoes today? Am I gonna wash my face? Am I, like once you kind of are given the freedom and you're kind of let off the leash and it's kind of like you decide how you're gonna live your life. I think that's actually kind of like a I don't know, like a powerful kind of statement to illustrate through gameplay mechanics, especially through the kind of perspective of this teen who is living with a disability where it's hard to do those things. I mean, it's like
Hmm.
they say in the intro, the little things are hard for me, and they like the choice to do it anyway when not only is it hard, but you also are never forced to after that first time. I think just really is a powerful thing. I don't know. I really enjoyed that.
I really liked it too, but I'm also someone that to me the best part of Heavy Rain was like the beginning when you're just doing the stuff.
Oh,
You're just
I'm
like
with
taking
you.
care of yourself. Like
Yes.
that I was like, give me a whole game of just this. I just want to like brush my hair and stuff.
Yeah, I want to brush my hair. I want to microwave like the bad like lasagna or whatever it was. Yeah, I'm with you.
Though what really really stuck out to me with that stuff into a T specifically, um this is kind of like what really sold me on the game, and it happens like right away basically. But when Teen is trying to eat their breakfast, it's cereal. Every day you eat cereal for breakfast, but
Yeah.
again their arms are sticking out, like they can't, like they basically have no elbows to bend, right? So how do you eat cereal that way? And Teen has like a special spoon. It's just basically like a very long spoon. And then again, at one point, Teen looks directly into the camera and is like, yeah, this is my special spoon that I have to use to eat my cereal because I can't any other way. And then they say, isn't it cool?
Right.
And I really had this moment where I genuinely kind of sat back. I was like, yeah, that is actually cool. And I'm someone that is like, I think pretty like open minded and thinks about stuff. But I've never really thought before about like the special tools that people with different disabilities must have and deal in. And just the line, yeah, this is my special spoon, isn't it cool? The optimism with which that is presented to you and the sincerity with which it is, I was like, yeah, this is actually really cool. Like it's a really it's kind of like a beautiful representation of like humanity, right? Like
Yeah.
even something as simple as a cane, like in real life. I'd never really sat to consider a cane before, but after this game, I was like, yeah, canes are kind of cool. Beyond the fact that they look cool, like come on, canes look
Canes
super
are
cool. But
sick, dude. Yeah.
yeah, but I never thought about it from like the how they're cool from like a functional perspective or a utilitarian perspective. Like, yeah, it's kind of like the most base form of like transhumanism in a way, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, we solved for the fact that some people, especially as you get older, have trouble walking. We give you a cool ass stick. So for teen, it's like, yeah, we gave you a cool long spoon. That it is genuinely cool, and it's something that I truly had never really thought about before. And I think that alone for me made it really worth playing this game.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think that the game has a very like they deal with all of that. Like they deal with the parts where if you're somebody living with a disability, you're going to have good and bad days, right? You're going to have those days where you are super optimistic. They also deal with like the stuff that you expect that they might, like the bullying and things like this, and people making fun of teen. And I think this game was actually made in collaboration with Able Gamers, who is a nonprofit foundation that is kind of based around accessibility and disabilities and things like this. And so it's kind of cool to see that kind of come to the fore in the context of the game itself, because yeah, like it's actually like very well considered in regards to that. And they even, in the regard of making it cool and in the regard of making this more anime, you mentioned that early in the game you unlock the ability to like spin around and kind of like momentarily fly in the air. And it's almost as if in a way, teen's disability is a superpower in this game. And that is kind of like, even in the opening song, like the song starts with kind of, even though it's very upbeat and stuff, but it starts by saying like, like my dog has to help me out. The little things are hard for me. I want to change my PJs, but then like by the end, it's like, but like I can spin so fast I can fly in the sky, pretty good. So I don't know. I really like that. I like that the game ebbs and flows and it kind of deals with the ups and downs of living with a disability as well.
Yeah. Also, like you mentioned the bullying too, that part also really hit me as someone who
Yeah.
I was never like really bullied. Obviously like kids are jerks, especially teenagers or whatever, but I never had any like super specific things going on for me. But yeah, to see the way in which they bullied teen was very like heartbreaking, I guess. Like the fact that they mimic teens like shape is very again, it just made me start thinking about like all the people out in the world with disabilities of their own, different ones. I just had never thought about the idea of like, oh, this person's body is shaped differently and we're going to make fun of that. Like as someone whose brain doesn't work like that, who is looking for ways to hurt people, I never thought about the idea of like, oh yeah, we're literally going to mimic your T pose. Like that sucked. I mean, again, it's very well observed from a story point of view that kids would do something like this, but that really that messed me up, honestly. I think that's in like the second episode where you see that happening, and then teen doesn't want to go to school after that. They're like thank goodness it's Saturday, and then your mom's like it's Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, that it is like that bit is sad. And it once teen kind of learns like the abilities that they can take advantage of, as a result of their disability, that's when the kids kind of come around and are like, oh wait, like actually this is pretty cool. And I even love that I love that the T pose is kind of the entire sort of like foundation of the game, because T posing is a uniquely video game or digital medium thing. T posing being the way that like character models are loaded into a game or whatever. And I think that it is the perfect cross section of taking advantage of the fact that this is a video game, a digital medium, whatever. Also, T poses are like very sort of memeable or whatever. Like a T pose is kind of funny, but also it makes for like unique gameplay when you are having to navigate teen's life. And it's not a cop out. Like they really do deal with in a gameplay sense what it's like to be shaped like a T. You know, I really like that.
Yeah, they really do go out of their way to cover most of the questions you might have about how would this work. Again, in this kind of surreal, cartoony way, of course. But
Right.
yeah, that's kind of the broad strokes of To a T then. I don't know if there was any other generalities I missed out on that you wanted to go over before we go on a break, or anything specific?
Not really. I think we've covered, you know, the broad strokes of it. I will just say that one thing that I would encourage people to do when they play the game, because one issue that I definitely had playing the game for the first time was like just navigating the city. They give you a map, but it's not like super helpful. You mentioned the train, you know, as a useful tool. As you kind of unlock more of the map and stuff, the map kind of more areas become available to you as the game progresses and stuff. So I encourage you to like engage with that stuff kind of as it comes and not stress out too much about it, because you really, the game is, one thing that I really like about this game is that it is totally comfortable with you engaging with as much or as little of that stuff as you want. If you want to be the person that just spends a ton of time in the open world collecting coins, unlocking all the things, like you can do that. But if you want to just take this kind of like episode by episode, because there is like a moment between episodes where you actually have to like choose to start the next episode. And if you want to just roll from one into the next, you can. And but you could take it more slowly paced too. So I guess just TLDR, don't stress about it too much. Take it at your own pace. Find your way around the town and kind of learn it. You know, just don't feel like you have to rush through this thing if you don't want to.
And also, if you get the high score on the corn cob eating game, you unlock a really big pompadour haircut.
It's
that
pretty
you can
sick.
Equip. It's pretty great. I really liked that a lot.
Yeah, because you get like the various giraffe hairstyles, basically. Yeah.
Also, real quick, I just want to talk about the dumb crab, the barber crab or whatever. Again, that's episode 4, right before episode 4, where you unlock that feature, and it gives you kind of like a side quest, again, optional and whatever, but you can talk to people with like interesting haircuts to unlock them. Like you can then bring that haircut to the crab and he can cut your hair that way or whatever, which is very funny. But also the funniest part about it to me was, on your way to go visit the crab, there's a dude sitting on the beach with like a samurai haircut. And it's like, why is this dude looking like what is the point of this? And then you talk to the crab and then get that side quest. And then I was like, oh, they put that dude with the unique haircut there because they want me to talk to him and unlock his unique haircut. It almost feels like a parody of like typical video game like side quest design to me. The fact that we put this obvious unique NPC out here just for that purpose is very funny to me. But yeah, we will talk a little bit more about the game just based on, I think, what songs we've got for this next break. We've got Popcorn Game and Detective Dog from To a T, and we will be right back. And again, that was Popcorn Game and Detective Dog. So I'm going to derail us immediately, real quick,
Okay.
with Popcorn Game. Before we go anywhere else talking about the song, not that there's that much to talk about with the song, I guess. The intro of this just sounds like a sped up Christmas painting Christmas Town by the Chowder Man. It's just a faster version of the I can't wait to open all my presents. The moment I heard this in the game, I instantly clocked it for that, and it was very distracting to me. But that's also why I wanted to put this in the episode, because then I was just picturing Chowder Man done up in the character style of To a T, and then man. I was thinking about the fact that he'd probably have a real problem with teen flying like a helicopter. That'd probably bring back like bad
triggering. Yeah, that'd be triggering for Chowder Man. I think that most video games would be improved with the inclusion of the Chowder Man. Yeah. To be clear, that's so funny. I did not pick that up. I the first thing I want to do after wrapping up this episode is listen to that. That rules.
But yeah, I don't have too many other notes. This is just like a fun, goofy song to play, again, while a giraffe is shooting popcorn out of a cannon at you. Again, we talked about it already, really, but I think this is my favorite of the food eating games in terms of, it's not the most unique, but I think it's like the most doable. Like that ice cream cone one, like we said before, is just, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. Just give me the popcorn running around, just grabbing popcorn instead.
Yeah, it's a fun little game, and this song, like, yeah, it's a fun, bouncy, poppy, even you might say, song. I caught myself about to say that, and then I was like, that's bad.
I heard you just halt in the middle of talking.
Yeah, I caught myself in the middle of like, oh, that just came into my head. I don't like that, but I have to get it out. And yeah, it just has a lot of fun little flavors to it, little synths, little claps, horn leads. I actually really like, there's this very simple little hi-hat percussion in this song that I think gives it a little bit of like a ticking clock element that I think kind of complements the like frantic energy of this minigame, and I think that's very good too. But yeah, I don't really have any extensive notes on it.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else myself. It was just like a fun thing to put in here, and also not super long, in the effort to try and keep this a little bit shorter. Detective Dog, then. Mm-hmm. This was your one demand, so tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is far and away my favorite song in the game that is not, a vocalized song anyway, in terms of like, the Giraffe song is probably my absolute favorite song in the game, Giraffe, train song, stuff like this. But in terms of the actual in-game OST, this is definitely my favorite. This is the chapter 5, bit that you're kind of alluding to, wherein you play as the dog in a kind of detective offshoot. I won't say why, but that is what you're doing. And it is truly, I mean, it's my favorite chapter in the game because Dog just goes on his own little mini journey throughout this chapter, meeting unique characters. But then, yeah, the entire time having this like the smoothest jazz song you've ever heard underneath him is just amazing. I feel like the production of this song is super shimmery and like twinkly and chill. I love it. I love that obviously the sax and the keys, these are like the big stars of the song, but I really love the bass in this, like repeating that core melody in different keys throughout the song. It kind of grounds it in like the I don't know, in like the standard core melody of the thing, despite how improvisational the sax feels. But my favorite part of the song, and this actually, I don't know if you hear this in the game, but you can hear it when you're listening to it off of the soundtrack. I love that you can hear the very last like breath and the reed of like the sax at the very end. I love it when people leave that kind of stuff in, like when you can hear those little individual human things. Like I just love that. That is like ear candy to me. So yeah, this song just checks all my boxes. It's like my favorite chapter in the game. It had to be in here.
Yeah, I agree. This is, yeah, without a doubt, this is my favorite non-lyric song in the game, and even then, it might just be my favorite. As much as I love Giraffe song, it still might just be number one.
Yeah.
And that's just because, with no lyrics, it can kind of just slide more into the background, which is just how I tend to consume music. Even if I'm paying attention to it, I still tend to prefer songs without lyrics, generally speaking, for me. I guess that's why I host a video game music podcast. Though, speaking of sliding, when that sax comes in at 49 seconds, it feels like my life just changed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm no longer Matt Murray. I'm like Don Draper at a smoky bar, but a non-problematic, like respectful Don Draper. I'm not the womanizing Don Draper, but yeah, that it captures the noir vibe like perfectly. It's almost like too good in terms of like the fact that it's in this silly little game and in this silly chapter within this silly game. It's almost like y'all went too hard with it a little, but I'm not going to complain about it. This is just like, this might be my favorite jazz song ever inserted into a video game soundtrack. I guess with Mario Kart World, I guess I can't go quite that far, but it's up there. It's just an extremely good jazz song in this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is in the conversation with stuff like the jazz stuff in Mario Kart, Gunbrella. Like this definitely has that kind of energy. It can hold court with songs of that caliber. It's that good. And yeah, it also just like, it's such a goofy and fun chapter of the game, but it also has quite a bit of drama to it. Like there is a pretty significant dramatic sort of drive to that chapter, despite how silly it is. And I don't know, just everything that I love about this game is kind of in there. And it also brings up a point that I think is important to make with To a T, because Keita Takahashi's previous work, which we covered the vast majority of during the We Love Katamari episode, is a lot less structured than this game is. Like, To a T for me is the most like video game that he's made. And I think that it's, like on one hand, I understand why this game did not resonate or find a larger audience. On the other hand, I think that this game, more than a lot of his other games on paper at least, would appeal to the largest audience because it does, play out more like a video game and less like a toy, even though it does have, a lot of those aspects still. So I find that very interesting, but yeah, no, I loved this moment in the game. It's definitely my standout moment of the game.
Yeah, I genuinely was not expecting to play as the dog for a whole episode. Like, I could have seen like a brief little moment, but yeah, you really do play a whole significant chunk of this game as the dog. And yeah, like you said, you're meeting all these new characters, some of which never show up again after this chapter, some of which do. And then, yeah, it leads into the real turning point of the game, which is like the following 3 episodes of it. Yeah, this was where I like truly fully like fell in love with this game, even despite like the Switch 2 version issues and whatever. Like, I was trying to play this in more like chunks, like 2 episodes at a time usually. But then after I did this, I'm like, well, okay, I'm just gonna finish out the rest of the game here at this point, because like with the cliffhanger ending of this episode and then immediately what you lead into in the next episode, I'm like, okay, let's just finish this off. I have to see what happens. Yeah, that's all I really had for Detective Dog, and that's kind of all I really had for To a T. I don't know if you
Yeah.
had anything else.
No, that's pretty much it. I hope that y'all feel encouraged to check out the game. It's also, I mean, if you want to get through the game, you can do that. The game's like maybe I think most people get through it in like sort of 6 to 8 hours, if that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I streamed my entire playthrough when the game came out, and I think it was like 6.5 hours or something like that. So, it's not super long. It's not super expensive. As we've mentioned, the Switch 2 version is in rough shape, at least right now. I do hope that they optimize it and patch it further, but for right now, it is in kind of rough shape. But either way, I encourage y'all to check the game out. It's genuinely very good, and I think would speak to a lot of people. And even if this isn't the kind of thing that you are immediately drawn to, just like on the face of it, I do think that there's a lot that you can kind of take away from this game regardless of that. I think that, like getting this kind of perspective, I think is important. But even beyond that, even if like you're for some reason not interested in getting the perspective of living with a disability, I do think that it speaks to a very universal human experience of growing up and dealing with teenage struggles at the same time as dealing with struggles of disability. So I think this is a very, very human game that I would recommend to just about anybody.
Yeah, like I said, or like you said, really, I understand why on the surface, like this didn't sell. To be fair, even the marketing for this game, I didn't watch like the full trailer of it until this week, and they don't emphasize like they just play like the Giraffe song basically
Right.
and like make it like a very hectic video. It's like they're trying to emphasize the goofs, right? And I understand that from a marketing standpoint. Like I also understand that like really selling in a trailer what makes this game special probably impossible. So they probably their idea was in the right place probably to try and like emphasize the cartooniness of it or whatever. But yeah, it's the humanity beneath it with this game, and how do you pitch the human side of a video game in like
Right.
a minute and a half trailer or whatever. So I get it, but yeah, I hope this finds some success, be it with the Switch 2 version or just as time goes on, more people discover it. Yeah, it was a really, really cute special game. I'm glad I played it again. I couldn't put it down the entire second half despite the Switch 2 issues. So that has to speak somewhat to its quality.
Yeah, play to a T. It's very good. Keita Takahashi deserves all of the success that he can find. He's one of my favorite, video game developers and auteurs or whatever. And I love his work. And this is a real standout for me last year. I think I told you like this was the one. To a T was the one I was like, I want this to stick with me. I want this to be on my top 10 last year, like
Mm-hmm.
come hell or high water. And sure enough, I think it might have been my number 10, but it was on there.
Yeah. Hey, nothing's better than like a great number 10 spot on a game
Yeah.
of the year list, right? It's fun to not be the number one, but you're still on there, you're hanging out. I love like the back half of game of the year list. That's
Same.
where like the real treasures tend to lie, even in my own, I feel like.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, it's a lot of people kind of agree generally on what the best games of the year are or whatever, but it's the individuality is found at the bottom half. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That has then been the episode. Again, on minis, we don't do YouTube comments or voicemails, though, of course, if you want to send in voicemails, you can do that either by emailing us at bitharmonypod@gmail.com or by dialing it in to 216-230-8540. That number again is 216-230-8540. You can dial that in, email us, send in whatever kind of music requests, or leave any kind of message, I guess. Our next full episode is going to be our favorite soundtracks of the first half of 2026. So if you have anything you want played on that episode, you need to get that in pretty soon. I'd say within the next like day or two of this episode going up on the public feed.
Yeah. What synergy to have this, this game that I brought to last year's version of that episode, being the thing that brings us into this year's version. Wow.
Yeah,
Look at us.
It was purely accidental, but yeah, that's great.
That happens to us all too often. So yeah, get your voicemails in if you have a game soundtrack that has really resonated with you so far this year. Let us know. We'll include it in that episode. But I guess that just leaves like patron shout outs and whatnot, right?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. Yeah, this one went up on free feeds, but it's worth mentioning again that there are a bunch of exclusive episodes of this mini kind of format of Bit Harmony on the Patreon. So check that out. There are links in the show notes, and you can join the ranks of these fine folks. Bit Harmony is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. Thank you to our Triforce tier supporters, Adam Caparello, Bowza, Quagmire, Dan and Luma, Danilina Hosa, SAZ, John Cummins, Josh Vaughn, Ligerwoods330, and Uncle Randy. And thank you to our Golden Banana tier supporters, Big Dogs Only, Bill Tucker, Foolish Fuji, Gamer Jason, Hopple, John32, Liam D, Old Drake, Phelan Ward, Rob Yapel, Shy Guy, thank you Shy Guy, Sean Ashton, and Stephen Keller. We really appreciate it. You can get a 7-day free trial to the Golden Banana tier as well, and check out those mini episodes that way for free for 7 days if you would like. And we really appreciate the support. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for everything, for supporting us on Patreon, for just listening, for leaving reviews. If you haven't left a review, I'm not thanking you. You are pointedly not thanked. You should get on that at this point. But yeah, like I said, the next full episode of the show should be going up on the public feed June 28th. That is, again, our 2026 mid-year check-in episode. Again, get those voicemails in real soon. I think we're going to be recording that earlier than usual. But otherwise, your outro this episode is Mushroom Mountain from 2 a T. No real reason why. I just thought this was like a unique vibe to end the episode on. Yeah. Also, just a real cool song in general. So, again, that is Mushroom Mountain. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.